What is up, everyone? Brandon here. I'm joined by Mr. Mitch Dyer.
Hi, Brandon.
Hey, how you doing? So
I'm doing super good.
We're playing some Titan Souls.
Yes.
So this is a game I reviewed. It's a 16-bit sort of, guess you could call it a top-down action,
Zelda-inspired
thing.
Super Nintendo Bowman boss battle game.
There you go.
Is I like to call it.
The idea of Titan Souls is basically you're this boy, this little barefoot boy, cute as a button.
Trying to afford some shoes.
Can't afford the shoes. Got your trusty bow though.
Yes.
And you have one arrow.
Okay.
Which comes back to the whole can't afford shoes thing, I think.
Yeah.
And the idea is basically, it's this super streamlined action game. You've got a sprint. You've got a roll. You've got a bow with one arrow. You can fire your arrow, and then you can call it back to you by holding down the fire button again. You can also go pick it up, and that's it.
That's every
all there
input
is
in the
to it.
entire game.
And basically, what you're doing in Titan Souls is sort of like Shadow of the Colossus. It's just this super dwarfed little boy figure against these colossal monstrosities.
Okay.
Right?
And they're all different. They're all have their different purposes.
Absolutely, yeah. There's
they're
nothing
different
in between
solutions.
boss fights. It's just boss fights.
Okay.
And they all have the different mechanics, but they all also have like that chink in their armor, you know, that weak point that you have to hit with your one arrow. And a lot of times it's different. You have to employ a lot of different tactics. But you can see right now we got this sludge monster here. I'm going to go ahead and
miss. There you go. You
miss,
got
and then
him.
get
Got him on
the
that
way
back
back.
end.
And what I'm doing right now is just trying to have him to get to the heart. That seems to you know, on this particular guy, that's his weak.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
That's his weak
I like this boss battle a lot because it's
the first one.
Because it's the first one. It's the easiest one, and I beat it, and I felt good.
Yeah.
No, it's I like that it's getting it more challenging the better you're doing. Like you are busting it open, and every mistake you make adds more difficulty to it. But the closer you get to success, the more challenging it gets to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the stakes keep getting higher, right?
But that's not necessarily true of every fight.
No.
So that's
absolutely
interesting
not.
with this one, and then you go to the next fight,
Yep.
and it's totally different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the way you have to evade the monster and engage it, and the
So
obviously it's always going to be shoot the thing.
Yeah. And there is always that weak point, right? So a
Yeah.
lot of it is getting in there, staying alive until you find out what the sort of that weak point in their armor is, and then hitting that very precisely with this tiny little arrow.
You mentioned to me when I was talking to you about this a while ago that you had a couple moments where you would like walk into a boss battle, instantly kill it, just on a fluke shot.
Yep.
Did that feel good, or did you feel kind of robbed of the actual fight?
At the moment, I felt like a god. Right?
Okay,
like
of course.
I felt amazing, and then almost immediately after that, I felt like I was kind of almost robbed.
Okay.
Almost robbed because this game, though the boss battles are really creative and really cool. The skill-based combat that you need to perfect in order to really perform well is amazing. And the controls are so responsive to allow you to do that. The problem is it's only boss battles, and there aren't a lot of them. There are less than 2 dozen bosses in the game, including all the final stuff that you're going to go through. So
Let's engage with this guy.
Yeah.
See what happens.
So
Okay.
that was one thing that I really felt sort of cheated by. Is like I hit this fluke shot, and right now I know the pattern so well that I could probably kill this guy, except he's gonna land on me.
Nah, you're fine.
I could probably kill this guy pretty quick, but
Oh, almost.
I didn't draw back far enough. And the longer you hold it, the faster and harder it goes.
Got him. No problem.
Yeah, so that's very much an issue with Titan Souls, right? Is that once you know the boss fights, because there are just so few of them, that's really it, unfortunately. And
But there are these, after you beat the game, right? Like there are these modifiers.
Yeah, there is some limited replayability. So what there is after you beat the game, you can go hard mode basically, which everything is it's the same fights, but things are just faster, maybe more intense.
Okay.
It kind of turns into a bullet hell situation, right? Just things on screen. Then there's also Iron Man, which is one life to live, and then there's also
So if you get to boss number 17
and then you die, you start over again and just probably throw a controller.
Okay. I mean, that's all interesting challenge stuff, but I don't know. It's not like I'm going to replay this game 30 times
Yeah, and
for
there's
all of
one
that.
that's like no rolling, so you can't do this, which I don't know how they expect you to beat the game.
That just sounds not even fun.
Yeah, not at all. And then, with those 3 modes, that comprises sort of the limited replayability. But really, that's it. Like, the great thing I love about Titan Souls, and I do love it because it's really, really interesting, is that each fight is super unique.
Yeah, I mean, you had to use the environment here to your advantage, and then now that this is exposed and it's chasing you in a different way, you got killed.
And then I get crushed
Well
with the brain.
done.
But really, once you find all those fights, like no matter how many times you replay it, it's just shaving seconds off, right?
Yeah,
Getting
yeah.
better, getting faster. There's an achievement in the game to beat it in 20 minutes.
Wow. Okay.
Which is possible. So when I finished it, it took me shade under probably 4 hours.
Okay.
I died probably 150 times.
Not bad.
I'd say.
Not bad.
At the title screen, it actually shows you your deaths and all
Oh,
that.
okay.
But I 100%ed it. 150 deaths over. Well, there's 2.
Well done.
And this is what I'm talking about as well. Is there are some moments where you just kind of walk
You're like,
in
"What?
there, yeah,
Come
and you have
on."
your brain isn't in it right now, and
Yeah.
then you get crushed by a brain in an ice cube.
So I like the boss battles have their own like environmental things like this.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the world?
So the rest of the world, I don't really want to give too much away because like I said, it is such a limited experience. The rest of the world is big and it's pretty, right? Like this pixel art is really nice to look at. But there's just not much in between. You know, like we were saying, it's just boss fights. There are no little enemies anywhere in the world.
Got him.
There are no little enemies anywhere in the world. So you're really going from like the snow area to the fire area to the grass area to the forest. And what happens is before you get to each sort of boss area, there's a checkpoint in the middle. It shows you how many bosses are in the vicinity. And you hit that as your checkpoint, and then you go and knock out those 3 or 4 or 2 bosses in that area. And if you die, you go back to that checkpoint, which smartly cuts down all the walking that you have to do. But when you're walking between the areas, it feels like there should be stuff hiding. It feels like there should be stuff, around the corner, and there never really is. There are a couple murals that, I studied. I really thought that they might have had some secret to tell.
It's just like weird mystical language that pops up with every fight.
I don't want to give anything with that away, but there is a weird mystical language.
You just wrecked that dude instantly.
Yeah.
You've got this down already.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the thing is once you play it and beat it, after about 4 hours, I could probably do it in under an hour.
Okay.
And after that, I'll probably do it in 10 minutes. And
So you did really enjoy Titan Souls.
I did.
You
I
gave
did.
it.
No, what is here is mechanically super strong.
Great.
And responsive. The boss fights are really fun, really creative. Story isn't really there.
Okay.
There are little hints to it, but the mechanics of the game and what they have here is solid. There's just not a whole bunch of it.
Sure. And that's fine. I mean, I have no problem enjoying an experience like Journey or something, right? Like going in, getting out, and being like, wow, that was awesome. Let's move on. And it'll stick with you, and you might not need to replay it to get something out of it, to keep getting more out of it. But
and that's the unfortunate.
fine.
That's the unfortunate part is that it is so good. Great, even. I'm giving this game an 8.0.
Great
Titan
point
Souls
0.
8.0. It's so good. I just want to play more. I want more of these boss fights, and I want to see more of this world and kind of figure out what's happening. Unfortunately, I didn't just get that satisfaction from the replayability that's here.
Okay.
But
that's fair.
really like what's here. I really hope to see maybe some more content down the road or see what they're up to next. This was developed by Acid Nerve.
Acid Nerve, yeah.
So yeah, if you like what you see, I definitely recommend you checking it out. Just bear in mind, it is all mechanical. It is all about mastering these engagements, and then once you master them, it's just really about your speed running against yourself, shaving off seconds. Trying to do it without dying. So if you like it and you really want to compete against yourself, this is definitely the game for you. If you're looking for more of that narrative-driven, sort of 16-bit indie pixel style,
look elsewhere.
Yeah, you might not find it here. But
awesome.
That is Titan Souls in a nutshell. And now we're in the world proper. We can go out and explore.
Okay.
And I encourage you to explore if you like what you see. But for Titan Souls, and everything else,
rad indie games of all stripes.
About little boys with bow and arrows, I guess.
Little boys with shoes. Little boys
without
that can't
shoes,
afford
giant
shoes.
titans, sludge monsters with hearts in them. You're already in the right place. IGN.